Hello and welcome back. This is Jacob and this is my narration and recording of the Arknights event Vigilo. And two quick things before we begin today. One, ask something very quick at the end of this recording. Just post the episode, so nothing too special. Just wondering about people's reactions and feelings on the end of this episode. And the second one is about a certain character that will make its appearance during this episode, and I am so not gonna apologize how that voice is gonna sound. It's gonna be cringe. I hope you like it. And I'm probably not gonna be able to keep a straight face during it, so that's gonna be fun. Anyway, let's begin. Arknights event Vigilo, episode 3, Valorem. I bet 300. It's just a pile of broken scrap metal, not worth the trouble. You sure? I'll bet 500 then. That thing's important to us. How do you figure? Intuition. Not tricky to find old gadgets in the waste though, when catastrophes blow them out all the time. But intuition tells me that's not just your average trash. What are you two chatting about? Oh, doctor. Good evening, Dr. Jacob. You went to a drifter settlement yesterday while on field duty, and turned out something fairly interesting. It's just industrial scrap. I've seen this stuff all over the western wastes. Not worth your time, Doctor. But incredibly, it's industrial scrap that still works. It seems to be playing some kind of audio. Music? You'll be hard-pressed to convince me that's music. The circumstances it was found in? There was a strange machine in the middle of the drifter settlement, painted red, very heavy, and made strange noises when anyone came near. The drifters weren't too keen on approaching it, but they still set up camp around it. We ought to have moved it back. Dame Calcit might know the specifics of its technology. Spend cash to drag back a pile of industrial scrap? Have we ever had the luxury? Perhaps that Banshee might take a liking to it. If you have some personal beef going on, I suggest you don't bring it to work. Sounds interesting. Time permitting, we can visit that settlement together sometime. Maybe I'll be able to tell you what it is. Oh, looks like our gamble's gonna pay off then. And it's settled. Once Her Majesty's affairs are worked out for the time being, together we'll go. And keep to that deal. You awaken to an unpleasant mechanical noise. A normal day. Before your eyes is the ceiling of an ordinary living room in Rhode Island. The furnishing looks just as ordinary, though the hum of the ventilation system seems a bit deeper than in the other cabins. You know why. It is one of the most inconspicuous parts of your many peculiarities. You wash up perfunctorily. This part isn't so different from ordinary people. You take special medication to maintain your condition. This part is a bit different from ordinary people. Next, you do the full-body protective clothing that hampers your normal activities. But considering your physical condition, it is necessary. It may also be temporary, depending on your recovery. These are all orders from Dr. Calcit. According to her, you used to know more about these things than she did, but now, only she can look after your health. Of course, Dr. Jacob, you are not like that one. Is there anyone out there like us? Is anyone out there like you? The world has not been kind to you, and you know this. Ah, Doctor, you're awake. Considering how late you stayed up, you can rest a bit longer. Not going to urge me to work today? Doctor, I'm not trying to supervise your work or anything. You should rest when it's time to rest. Oh, by the way, Dr. Kalsit stepped out for the day. She asked me to tell you that the meeting is postponed to tomorrow. Huh. So, in other words, there's nothing to do? Nothing on today's schedule? Yes, that's why you should take advantage of it and rest up. Resting up, huh? "7:33 a.m. Rhode Island cafeteria." Oh, doctor, good morning. Eh? Oh, doctor. Good morning. Wow, doctor, you actually got the time to come down to the cafeteria for breakfast today? Yes, I have the day off. Heh, would you look at that? I never seen you in the cafeteria so early. What impression have I given you? What impression, huh? Probably workaholic, chronically overworked all year around. Seriously though, this is long overdue. You've been like this ever since we left Lungman. Don't want to see you break down. Be a little kinder to yourself, Doctor. After all, we were... Ah! God damn! The hell are you doing? Loose lips sink ships. Huh? It's fine. You're exactly right. Oh, it's not that, Doctor. That's not what I meant. Well, whatever. Enjoy your breakfast. I'll leave you in peace. The operators gradually disperse, and you find yourself sitting in the corner of the canteen, a rare occurrence indeed. Rhode Island, a place that makes you feel both at home, yet also estranged. Just like those clear but also unrecognizable memories. A pharmaceutical company with the primary goal of resolving the problems surrounding the infected. It is said that the past you was intimately connected to all of this. It is said that you played a key role in its establishment. It is said that you were the brains of Rhode Island, and that Rhode Island was the extension of your will. A portion of what was spoken of has been slowly returning to you, but you are not sure if this is good or bad. You have forgotten too much. Rhode Island has welcomed you, but you don't know if you are worthy of its welcome. Your breakfast lies before your eyes, a bland but healthy meal. You know that this, too, is Kalsit's work. Over the past 3 months, your life has been filled with these feelings. Everything is so strange, yet so nostalgic. Conceptually, these feelings are completely contradictory, yet they manifest in front of you together. 3 months ago, during the sudden outbreak of rioting and conflict, they, Rhode Island, rescued you from the epicenter of the turmoil. In the ensuing conflict, too many people lost their lives. So many of the deceased recognized you. Yet you do not recognize them. So many of the deceased heard about you, yet you have not heard about them. You gave your utmost, gaining greater respect in the process, and your hard work finally bore the fruit of victory. Yet that victory still came laden with inevitable pain. Up until now, you've had but one question, a question that you've repeatedly raised to yourself but have never been able to answer. Is it all worth it? "2:45 p.m. Rhode Island Integrated Bioprocessing Unit. Stretching out before your eyes is the most unique warehouse in all of Rhode Island. A large number of unclaimed objects are stocked in this warehouse. A Petit Perro operator is struggling to wipe down a badly damaged shield. You recognize the shield and remember the former owner of that shield. You remember that tall, somewhat slovenly operator who always sported a hearty smile. He was once your friend, or so you've been told, but you don't know anything. You're wary of this repetitive, contradictory nonsense, but nothing better encapsulates the current state of your existence. All these specifics shift through the cracks of your fingers. You extend your hand to catch them, but the fine sands of memory are dragged down by gravity and fall into the abyss, grain by grain. Doctor? How do you end up over here? This is Ace's shield? Yes, it belonged to him. Every week I come by to keep it clean. It's so heavy. Can you lend me a hand, Doctor? It's really, really heavy. I always have trouble lifting it back onto the shelf. You step forward to help her, but soon realize that you are too weak to lift the shield even a single centimeter off the ground. Perhaps you were able to do it in the past, but such a task is no longer possible for your convalescing body. Kaltzed has reminded you of this, as well as everything else. Hey, Doctor, don't lift it with your back. Never mind, I can do it myself. Sorry, no help at all. Don't worry about it. They always said you're the smartest person on Rhode Island. Let me help. Alright, just like this though, and be careful. Phew, we did it. By the way, who are they? Let's see, Instructor Doberman and others used to say that, as well as the elite operators, including Ace. He used to talk about you. He said that you could stand up to half an army by yourself. Were you and Ace close? Huh? Were we close? Ace was close to everyone. That's the kind of person he was. The very reliable type. During training, he taught us all sorts of things. Fighting as a team, cooperation, breaking encirclement. The elite operators are always busy, but Ace took the time to drop by the training grounds. I always thought to myself, when could I become as reliable as Ace? Beagle stares at the shield with a sad smile. The dust from the warehouse plaster her hair and face, but the para operator doesn't seem to care. You look around the room, and in the corner of the shelf, something catches your attention. Various photos and ornaments stacked in a small, messy box. Underneath it are some old, faded documents. This is... Oh, that's... Doctor, you shouldn't... What is it? These are things that belong to... They're from the reunion fighters back in Lungmen. The handlers in the processing room were discussing what to do with these for a long time and ended up stuffing everything in here. You flip through a few photos. These old, yellowed stained photos almost all depict Urso's people. Most of the people in the photos are clad in ragged clothes, showing a mix of awkwardness, joy, or numbness when facing the camera. On the backside of a silver pendant in the box is an engraving in the Ursus script. To Ivana, my darling daughter, may she always know happiness. Among them are former enemies as well as former friends. To know that some of them fought against Rhode Island to the bitter end, and you also know that some of them became allies of Rhode Island in a time of crisis. You don't know all their stories, but you do know the suffering of the infected. You know, and yet you do not know. Sometimes, those of us who were there will also ask ourselves this question. All of us have been through disaster, Ursus, the infected, as well as us, but was all of this truly worth it? Sorry, I shouldn't be venting my frustration. but every time I come here and see these things... Anyway, please forget I said anything, Doctor? It's fine, don't worry about it. It's already 3. Gotta head to the training grounds. If I'm late, Instructor Doberman's gonna chew me out again. Gotta go, Doctor. Remember to lock the door, okay? The power operator rushes out, leaving you alone with the ownerless objects stacked in the warehouse, save the slowly settling dust of time. You are about to turn and leave, but a strange red shadow enters your field of vision. Curious, but just not enough to stop your movement. It's just a strange red machine. "3:53 p.m. Overcast. Rhode Island Landship, lower deck." Real talk, don't you guys get hot in here all day? Not even thinking about heading up to catch some fresh air? This heat is just right for us Goliaths. Besides, someone gotta keep an eye on this equipment. Rhode Island depends on the power system here. Whatever keeps your motor running. Getting ready to leave? Yep, there's nothing for me here. Plus, that old hack Calcit's giving me the evil eye again. I'm actually really surprised that Dame Calcit even let you back on. Heh. Don't you have any idea how many swords the hag has hanging over my head right now? More than you could ever... Oi, look at that corridor over there. Wanna guess who's standing in that corner? Are you going to Victoria? Guess so. Just had a few words for my dear old pals before I go. We all know what you're trying to do. We also know we can't talk you out of it. But I have to say it one more time, going to Victoria is not a good idea, W. I think Sarkas maybe shouldn't... whatever. I'm just a boiler worker and I shouldn't even be saying this stuff to you. Forget I brought it up. There's something I want to ask. Most of the gang's already left, so why are you staying behind? With your skills, don't you think you could make a good living anywhere? Her Majesty left us this home. No reason we shouldn't leave. Having a place we belong to sure as hell beats wandering the wastes. Besides, the burly Sarkas knocks on the nearby machine. We have to protect the things Her Majesty left behind. I guess it's not much different from what you're trying to do. And you're not that W. And you know that W better than anyone else. Protecting a boiler? That big old hunk of steam machinery is your home, huh? Basically, yeah. I'd say this boiler is my purpose in life. Laugh if you want. Yeah, you know, this isn't exactly a laughing situation. You're still thinking of us, and we appreciate that. Safe travels. Saps. It's time to go. A voice from the shadows. W looks up, and though the light isn't on, someone has been staring at her from the darkness since the beginning. I know. Ascalon, you're the most impatient one of all, aren't you? But you're really not gonna let me see that doctor or the dragon lady? There's a lot that I still want to say to them. Aw, giving me their cold shoulder. So Ines is still alive? What's the situation in Londinium? Then what's the plan? Used to be with Theresis. Fine. Spooking me with that silent treatment isn't easy. Used to be a lot more talkative. I guess seeing me pissed you off? I leave then, happy. It just so happens that I had some stuff to check with the old hack first, otherwise I wouldn't have wanted to be here either. We work together for now. Work together, huh? I'm not sure I'd call it that. It's more like making sure I've got all my targets nice and clear before we meet up out there in a war zone later. I'm not gonna randomly stroll into Rhode Island, don't worry. Though those folks sure have an interesting look in their eyes. It's a warrior's look. You see it in battle. The Sarkas in the shadow does not answer. W knows of this habit in Ascalon's line of work. The rule is each extra word makes your head hit the ground a little bit faster. My dear sweet Ascalon, you're not my boss anymore. See you in Londinium. What's wrong, W? You haven't left yet. Huh? That's weird. How come there's nobody here? "4:10 p.m. Rhode Island Landship, lower decks. The roar of machinery fills the lowest levels of Rhode Island, the area that provides power to the entire ship. The Sarkars Goliaths are the operators responsible for running it. On weekdays, the bottom level is populated pretty exclusively by technical staff. You are wandering around aimlessly. In these 3 months, you still have not set foot in every corner of Rhode Island. Rhode Island is like a small nomadic city. Though much smaller in scale, it is still well equipped. Its internal structure is far more complicated than it seems at a glance, and the power plant is one such example. Why is it so lively here today? Nobody ever comes down to a place like, oh, Doctor? Closure told me you were looking for me. Yes, that's right. Actually, I've been wanting to talk to you for a while. But you didn't need to come down here in person. I'm drenched in sweat and it's way too hot before you. Why don't take this somewhere else? How does that sound? No problem, but what did you need me for? It's just about some nostalgic stuff. Sorry to make you listen to my rambling. The burly Sarkars man puts down the wrench in his hands and removes his dirty work gloves. From the bottom of his toolbox, he takes out a small teapot and the accompanying teacups, constraining sharply with the large, rough hands. Do you drink tea? We can skip the formalities. Don't worry about it. You're here, I might as well take a break. I'll be glad to have some then. You... I won't try to hide it. In fact, I never thought I'd get a chance to chat with the likes like you. You seem like you're in a bad mood. Is something wrong? Something to do with the weather? He knows more about Rhode Island than you. You suddenly feel that it is this Sarkas and his fellow workers who are keeping Rhode Island going. They grasp the lifeblood of the landship in their hands, and they deliberately avoid the public eye. You are grateful for everything they do, but don't know why. It's hard to see the weather when we're working down here. Even though the lower windows, all you can see is the dust kicked up by the treads. I don't know what complex problems you're mulling over, Doctor. I'm just a simple boiler worker. I'm not exactly the big brain type over here. You have something you want to tell me? Yes, Doctor. Miss Amia and Dame Kulsit are always ready to help you, so you should probably start with them. There are too many things, and bottling them all up isn't a good option. Some things are hard to talk about, but you seem to know a lot. How long have you worked for Rhode Island? I'm an old Rhode Island hand doctor. We used to know each other. I took orders a few times before I started my technical work, even if you don't remember. The only advice I can give you is this. If they can't be the ones to answer you, Who else can you ask to give you that answer? You are the ones she put her trust in. She trusted in you, and she trusted in them. Looking for an answer, huh? In fact, I just saw W. Huh? She's here? Doctor, you must know by now, but W and Rhode Island have a connection, and you're mixed up in that too. When a Sarkaz like Flamebringer shows up in Rhode Island, I knew this day would come. It's something, from Kazdal to Ursus, then to Lungman, and on to us here today, and even on into the future. We've kept moving forward, but we keep bumping into the same faces we started this journey with. Only now they bring some of those far-reaching effects they left behind. "6:22 p.m. Doctor, you're back. I haven't seen you all day. Where have you been?" "Just wandering around the island." "It's fine. Getting enough rest is also part of your job." "I feel kind of listless, going a whole day without work." "Doctor, I'll tell you a little secret, but don't tell Dr. Kaltsit now. The truth is, Dr. Kaltsit didn't have anything that important to do today. She didn't need to go out. She's seen how tired you've been lately and wanted you to take a break." "Oh. But you look pretty happy. Did something good happen?" "Nothing in particular. It's just been a long time since I've talked to people like this. By the way, Amia, I think I saw something strange in the operator's storage room." "Storage room? Doctor, what did you mean by something strange?" "It was red." "Oh, you're probably talking about that red industrial scrap. You might not remember, but it was a bet between Scout and Ace. One day they brought that device back to Rhode Island. Closure spent some time on it and decided it was useless, so she let it sit there in the warehouse." "Can I go and take another look at it?" "Oh, of course." Among the various discarded, unused mechanical equipment in the warehouse, that strange device towers above the rest. The box-shaped device stands more than 2 meters tall. The red paint on the surface is clearly visible, but has been severely worn down under the perennial erosion of wind and sand. "It's this thing. You're weird, Doctor. Why the sudden interest?" "When they first brought it back, the box would make noise as soon as someone got close to it, but I think Closure broke it." "What do you mean I broke it? It was already like this when I moved it back here. All I did was study it a little. I've never been able to figure out what this thing really is for. Originally wanted to see if I could open it, but ended up breaking 3 power saws without a crack. So yeah, Doctor, do you have any ideas what this is?" "Maybe it's some kind of safe." "A safe this big and conspicuously colored? Maybe if you really wanted to attract thieves, I guess." You observe the enigmatic device carefully. There are no buttons and no gaps under its worn-out metal casing. You haven't seen anything like it before. At least in your existing memory, you have no impressions of it. You lightly knock on the casing of the device, out of curiosity. "Huh? Doctor, watch out. Did anything happen?" "Don't worry about that right now, just stand back." After a violent rattling noise, the device lets out a small ding. The complete box-like structure suddenly opens, the one seamlessly shut outer shell, sliding up and down like a cabin door. Inside the box-like structure, you see an artifact with a metallic luster. Unlike the wear and tear that the outside of the box has been subjugated to, everything inside is as smooth as ever, with no trace of passage of time. However, the man-made object within fills everyone with a sense of familiarity. This is a bottle of beer, right? No matter how you look at it, it's just a bottle of beer? What the heck? I thought there'd be something super high-tech in it, something a bit more constructive. After all that time, it turns out it's just a vending machine? What's the point of making something this tough anyway? You need it to withstand an originium bomb? But isn't it kind of weird color for beer? I'll have to look into it some more. Doctor, do you know what this is? Nothing. Just a heap of scrap metal. What really matters is we got ourselves an extra bottle of beer. But closure, this beer. Just put it in the room next to Ace's shield. Wasn't that the bet? Fuck's sake. This goddamn ending every time I see it. God damn it. Okay. But anyway, the thing I wanted to ask is, how many of you who are gonna be watching and or listening this and have either read it by yourselves or listened to this have had a reaction, any kind, to the ending of this? This kinda hit me out of nowhere, not gonna lie. Anyway, thank you for listening.